Hi there. Hey, everybody. Hi. Happy Wednesday. Yay, Wednesday. I'm Josh with Brown Dog Gadgets, and we're here hanging out with people from STEMfinity.com. They're nice enough to let us do a live streaming project here. Today we're going to make a fun conductive papercraft project, a moving project. We're going to make our own little robot vacuum that vibrates and moves. It's a fun STEM activity for kids of many, many ages, really ages 10 and up. If they can use a pair of scissors and some tape, they can make this project. It's part of the Origami Circuits Kit, which STEMfinity carries of ours. And today we're going to walk you through how to make this and add some tips about how to use this in a classroom or in a home setting to teach basic circuitry in a very fun and silly way, because it's a robot vacuum that's made of paper. So, by the way, too, if you are wanting to check out more information on this stuff, go to STEMfinity.com. If you have any questions or comments, throw them into Facebook or YouTube, and we will throw them up on screen. Because why not? And if you have any comments like, hey, you guys, that's an awesome haircut, do that too, because we love seeing that. But also, one more fun thing, if you stick around to the end, there is a free giveaway. STEMfinity.com is doing a giveaway, but by the way, you can actually go here right now and do it, not to the end. But they're going to... So go to this link, bit.ly.com, or I can't even say anything correct. Bit.ly, there we go, bit.ly/STEM in R2.
STEM in R2.
Well, thanks, Pete. I'm not doing reading the stuff on screen very well over here.
One more fun thing here. We've got all these great
that's right.
places you can find.
Check out all the cool STEMfinity stuff. We've been selling through STEMfinity for years. They're very nice people. We usually hang out with them at trade shows because they're fun. But no trade shows this year because of COVID-19. And which is why doing fun home learning things like this are great for the home or the classroom. Or, gosh, and by the way, we have tons and tons of these types of projects available through our Paper Circuits Kit, both our small and classroom set, through our Origami Circuits Kit. So, check out stuff on STEMfinity because we just have heaps and heaps of fun paper circuitry projects that we post for free on our website, and that STEMfinity also has and carries. So, seriously, well, let's go to the other overhead view and start this fun project. And actually, we're going to show you an example of this because right now, this is really dull. But we have a little pull tab here, which is our on and off switch. We're going to stick this in here, and it's going to go about. We're going to move this stuff out of the way here. So, robot vacuum. Now, the best part is, too, it also bounces off of stuff. So when it hits something, it does do the classic robot vacuum thing of moving away from things. And this is kind of a rough surface to be on, but if you have a smoother surface like a kitchen table or linoleum floor, it moves a lot easier, but it's a very silly project. So there's not a whole lot to this. We've got our template. We've got a blinking red LED here to give it a little fun lighting effect because things are way more fun when we have both light and sound. And we have on the underside is our battery and our self-sticking motor. This little flat motor, all the movement's internal. It's a vibration motor. And we're hooking it all up with this really awesome Maker tape, which is our special nylon conductive tape that we have in our kits. Maker tape. Thanks, Pete. Now, this project will not work with your standard copper foil tape. No, sir. No copper. Oh, there it is. No copper foil tape needed. Copper foil is too weak to handle the couple of build processes that we're doing with this. And we need the special nylon tape. We have our Maker tape to handle it. It's just a lot stronger and more durable. It can handle the pressure fit of something like this, our little pull tab, as well as the fact that it's conductive on top and bottom lets us make a battery holder out of nowhere. So you really need to be using that to do this activity. You can maybe get away with copper foil if you're really, really tricky about it, but it's going to take a lot of extra work and finagling. If that's a word. Finagling, that's a word? It's a word, finagling. So, live. So this is the robot vacuum. I think in the office we call it the Vroomba.
Yeah, Vroomba.
You can call it whatever you want. So anyway, that's the Origami Circuits Kit, which we have. Ta-da! Origami Circuits Kit comes with blinking LEDs, some big jumbo LEDs, 4 vibrating motors, and our Maker tape. And found on STEMfinity.com for $25. .com. There we go, Pete. Thanks for that wonderful overlay. Sure. Now, the template for this project. Let's get into this little thing. So we've got this wonderful template. We've got, there we go, 2 versions. There's the camera. We got either the version that has printing on here and your kind of standard black and gray and white robot vacuum. And we also have a blank one because sometimes you want to draw and make your own colorful robot vacuum. So we have the 2 versions. We would highly recommend not using your standard 8.5 by 11, which is what this is. You need something a little thicker, typically something like 50 to 60 pound cardstock, if you want an official number. Just some heavier paper so that it's a little easier to work with because there's some folding and gluing involved. And the heavier paper is definitely easier to cut out and glue than your standard printer paper. So there we go. Try to pull the Dave Letterman.
Right.
So yeah, stay a little standard, a little thicker. That's what we're using here. This is our little bit of glossy cardstock. Now on the back side, if you can do a double-sided print, we do have as well the entire diagram for this. It's not that tough to follow. It's only a couple pieces of maker tape. Thank you, Pete. Our battery, and our wonderful motor and our LED. So there's not a whole lot to there. We have some directions down here as well on how to do that. So actually, I'm going to zoom in a bit here just to... There we go. Let's refocus. There we go. Cameras. So there's that. So the first and foremost big step is grabbing yourself a gigantic pair of scissors, like so, and cutting all this out. Now we're just going to cut. Oh, we're so good at cutting that until we are all the way back. Oh, look at that. Wonderfully cut. So fast. Are you doing sound effects there, Pete?
Yes.
Pete loves the sound effects on our computer.
We all love the sound effects.
So there you go. So we have this is all done right here.
Great cutting job.
I know. I've been cutting at an 8th grade level for years. This is a gigantic roll of maker tape. There's a 5-meter roll in that other kit. This is 20 meters, which also STEMfinity.com also carries our 20-meter roll of maker tape, which is 65-ish feet, if you want to talk about that, which is a lot. Great stuff. Goes on to anything. So we're first going to do a couple little maintenance things on here just to get things lined up. And I realized, Pete, we actually need an X-Acto knife for this.
I can get you one.
Could you get me an X-Acto knife, Pete? Thanks. Sure, that's why Pete's here. It's really helpful for one little cut or some kind of knifey, pokey thing. But first and foremost, I'm going to use this safety pin because it's a tool we have around here specifically for this. But we're going to put a couple holes in our project here to get our LED legs through. So there's a couple spots right here marked. You can actually poke through with your LED leg. This is just a bit easier because we're using some pretty thick cardstock here, which, yay. But there you just got to poke a couple holes through there, yay. And then we just got to grab our red LED and stick it through there. Now here's a cool thing to know. LEDs have 2 legs. Ta-da! So they can stand on their own. They're a bipod.
Yeah.
There we go. But the long leg is positive, short leg is negative, which we totally have labeled on here, long leg, short leg. If you get it backwards, not the end of the world. It's actually fairly easy to fix. Just flip the battery around. But if you want to follow these directions and be kind of on top of things, follow the directions. And do the long leg would be on my right here, and a short leg on the left. So we're just going to do that. I'm going to poke these little guys through the holes here. I poked on here, so my robot vacuum has an LED on the front. These are naturally blinking LEDs, just add power and they blink. My long leg is here. My short leg is there. I'm just going to bend them outward, like so. Ta-da! LED legs are great. They're a nice, hard, I call them coat hanger type metal, which no one uses metal coat hangers anymore, so it's kind of it's a weird reference. They're all plastic, which is far easier to use. But they bend. They'll bend and bend and bend, and then they'll break. So bend them and leave them. Great. So there, we have 1/3 of the work done on this project. I know. If you have any questions, seriously, post a question on Facebook or YouTube's, and you're good to go. Unless STEMfinity is sending me tons of messages, which they're not. Good.
Or just leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, comment.
People. Hopefully it's working for everybody.
Nice job bending those legs.
It's true. I'm not a gymnast, but I can bend LED legs. Is it a rim shot?
Yes.
Okay. I can't hear those. So we can now use our self-sticking motor, not LED, motor. Actually, they're nice little guys. These are really great motors for all kinds of activities where you need to stick a motor somewhere and just it needs to be. Because we also sell kind of your standard barrel motors where it's a standard motor with a little offset weight on the end. We use those for our BristleBots, also carried on STEMfinity.com. BristleBots. Fun for everybody. But we like this for papercraft projects. That way there's nothing to get caught in the paper or to have any weird motions hitting things. And half the time our designs don't even show the motor. So having it hidden is, sure, no big deal. But they're great because they're self-sticking. So we can just totally peel off this little sticky layer. And we can stick this guy on. Ta-da!
Oh.
There we go.
What if the colors don't match?
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter.
Oh.
So the cool thing about motors are, especially little DC motors like this, is that if you hook the battery up the opposite direction, just either it spins the opposite direction. So clockwise or counterclockwise, which isn't going to affect anything except which way your robot vacuum just naturally turns. So yeah, it doesn't matter. So there we go. We got our 2 electronic components, our interactive things done, and they're on there. Yay! Now here comes the hardest part. We're using an X-Acto knife. We got to cut a little slit right here, and it's on this directions. This is for our pull tab. Now, if you don't want to use a pull tab on this project, you could just disconnect the battery every time you're done with it. We like the pull tab approach because it's just kind of elegant.
On-off switch.
On and off switch. And, oh, this is not the right one. There we go. It just is an easy way. This is just a random pull tab I actually grabbed from a big box of papercraft projects. But it's a nice way to turn things on and off without messing up the design too much. And what we do is we run the tape up and through the hole. So you can actually see a little bit of tape on this side. So it kind of curls down and around and up, which is why we can't use copper foil, because copper foil is too weak to deal with that. And then, like any good pull tab, this is just closes the gap between the two. It's a really nice way of doing all sorts of papercraft projects, and we really, really like using that when you want to hide batteries and other LEDs and things internally inside of a project, but still be able to turn access and turn things on and off from the outside. We have a few projects that use multiple pull tabs to turn like certain LEDs on, motors on and off. So you can do multiple ones with inside of a project. Yay. But this is just all one. So I'm going to take my fun little X-Acto knife here, and I am totally going to just cut this slit open right there.
It's a brand new blade. It should be.
Oh, is it? It looked really, really nice. Yeah. This is all I use X-Acto knives for, is to cut little tiny slits in paper.
It is something that's with scissors it's a little hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, you could also just take something sharp and poke through there.
Yeah.
Again, there's lots of ways of doing this. An X-Acto knife is just kind of, it's kind of handy. And even I usually cut these a little too thin.
It helps to put the blade in and wiggle it, kind of widen it out.
Yeah, I always cut these, just a little thinner than I should. Yeah. Because our pull tab is actually, it's in the directions. It's just a little rectangle that you fold in half, then in half again, and add some tape to. So as long as this can fit through appropriately, it's fine. Or you can, do something different. Because the big thing is it's just paper. You can build your own and do your own. So, Mr. Wizard, I am not, but...
Josh, just a reminder, got a...
the giveaway.
Happening.
But...
So, just go to that website.
Yep, there we go. And then, All
right.
Then just make sure your pull tab can fit in there with a little clearance. Mine clearly can. I can make mine maybe a little wider, but for the sake of this project and this live stream, I'm just going to choose to stop now. There we go. There. Ta-da. And this is the hardest stuff so far. Now we're just putting tape on paper. Yeah. And that's pretty easy with Maker Tape.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to cut myself like a nice long piece to work with so that they have the big unwieldy roll there. There you go. And... ta-da. Now I like to start with the pull tab area first, and so I like to do that right away because that's the most frustrating part. So get that done first. So I always start by removing some of the paper backing from my Maker Tape, and I just kind of thread it through that little slit right there. And I use my finger and push it down on the back side, and then I just lay it down over top of the motor wire and the LED leg. And as long as it's touching the bare wire of both of those, you're good, because our Maker Tape is conductive on top and bottom, unlike that copper foil, which typically isn't. Maker Tape. TM, don't forget, it's a trademark. We trademarked that. So there's that.
That was easy. That was pretty easy.
That was pretty easy. Yeah. So I do this one first just so I can get that done. I'm going to do this one second, and so we're going to come down and over to the middle here because this shows the battery in the system. So the battery lays on top of tape, and then tape goes on top of the battery.
Wait a minute. Is that a tape loop?
It is. It's actually in the directions. It shows you exactly how it works, and you can see on this one, tape goes over the top, and then tape goes down below. And this diagram right there that Pete's showing, thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
That's why Pete's here. He's got all the cool diagrams. He has so many diagrams, he doesn't know what to do with himself. So we want to do this one next, and then we'll do this last one here. There you go. So we're just going to do a start from the top. STEMfinity is commenting. Yay, commenting works.
Circus.
I always paranoid it doesn't work when we do live streaming, especially when we're doing something slightly different than our usual live streaming that we do throughout the week. So same thing here. I just want to make sure I cover the leg and the end of the wire here with the sticky side of our maker tape. So as long as that's, you're done that. If you want to be really, 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 really on top of things, you put your tape down, then the part on top, then more tape on top of it. But that's if you're a super paranoid taper. We never have any issues by just laying it on top, especially with these types of components. So we're going to come down. We're going to right angle turn right here. Now, you don't have to do a right angle turn. You could just stop and cut your tape right there and then put another piece of tape down.
You're saying you can overlap it?
You can totally overlap it, Pete. We're just going to get here kind of in the middle of our battery, and we're just going to stop. Ta-da. Wow. We're not going to go too far because we got to, we're good. So we're going to take another little piece of tape right now, as Pete showed in that tape loop diagram. Actually, we'll stop, do the tape loop last. Tape loop last. I'm not getting sticky tape on myself. All right. No, actually, we have to do it next.
Yeah, let's do it next.
It's a Wednesday. Thanks, STEMfinity, for putting up with us on a Wednesday. Is that like cheering?
Yeah.
I assume I know what sound effects you're doing when I can't hear them. So we're taking a little loop of tape. That's all I'm doing right here is making a little tape loop. And I'm going to stick that down right here on top of the tape because it is conductive on top and bottom.
Yeah.
So this will bridge that connection between our tape down here and the bottom of our battery, which is just a common CR2032 coin cell battery. 3 volts. 3 volts. Ta-da.
Wow.
Now it'll stay on there. It's a great way to make a battery holder in the middle of nowhere. No need to fold over corners or use another part or component or something. Because I've seen people try to use all sorts of components, try to bring in standard electronic battery holders and tape them down in weird ways, solder them to copper foil tape. That's way too much work for, honestly, people and kids in general. This is simple. And also, when you're done with this, if say your battery dies, you just peel the tape off the top and down here and you're fine. Tape's actually pretty good for a couple of sticks of batteries. Or we just replace the loop of tape on the bottom with a little tiny bit of extra maker tape and you're good. All right, so now we just, as you can probably guess, we're putting one more piece of tape. Here we're doing the same thing. We're going through this the little slit right there. The same thing I did before, then push down the other side. I'm going to do a little right angle turn once more. And then just go on top of here. It looks like I have a... my slit wasn't a big enough slit there. So, if that ever...
You put this one in and kind of widen it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ta-da. There we go. Now it's off.
You know it works.
Well, now I know it works. It totally works. There we go. And actually, we need a bit more tape because... So what happened is up here... I had a little bit of this tape was touching both sides, so I just kind of used my fingernail to push it apart. I could have actually used this to bridge the gap. But so we need to actually put some tape on this guy. It doesn't take very much. I just have to run some tape along there. So I'm just going to cut myself a little piece of tape. Now, if you make your gap too large, which has happened to some customers of ours, and they're like, oh no, what do we do? Layer pieces of tape on top of each other until it's wide enough, or just double this up like this. So you get an even thicker one.
There you go.
We use, I think, this exact same template in all of our things that need that. But ta-da! We just go like this. Got a little pull tab on there. Yay! And then we can stick this in place.
Wow!
I think my battery must be dead. This is definitely more energetic than. I guess we use this a lot. We put this together a while ago. So this is it. And from this point on, it's just folding and taping or using hot glue. Now, we do recommend, if you can get away with it in home use some hot glue and save yourself a lot of time and effort. That's what we did on this guy a little bit, just use a little bit of hot glue. Otherwise, using some Elmer's glue works really well. Or if you've got some dexterous fingers. Dexterous? Science teacher, not an English teacher. You can do that because all we're doing is we're folding back here and we're making a hockey puck is what we're doing. So if any Canadians watching, this is what's all about.
Wow.
Always the nicest people at trade shows.
I think that the directions say you might want to curl the paper like on a pencil or something.
You can too.
Can
I'm not
help?
doing that.
You don't have to do
'Cause
that.
I'm not gluing all these in place.
Okay.
Breaking out the hot glue on a live stream is just dangerous.
I've got some tape over there in case you need it.
Oh, good. That's why we have this example. But that's all I have to do. Yeah, if you want to curl these edges up a bit, that works pretty well. And using like, we have a Sharpie here just to curl up the edges a bit. Yeah. So there's a lot of ways of doing this.
That's one way.
Yep, this is one way. There you go. Now it's a little more curly. But then you just glue it all together or tape it all together, and you have yourself a nice little vibrating hockey puck. I would not recommend taking this to hockey games.
No.
To be a little confusion out there. Sticks out everywhere. Just
One slap shot and that thing's done.
It's true. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the maker tape is pretty sturdy. It could probably handle a couple. It depends on who's doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the project. So we've actually done a couple different versions of this. We actually used the exact same template design to do like a Christmas candy. But just some other, like a fun psychedelic one looking very iron butterfly, 70s psychedelic goodness. But you could take this simple template and say add anything you want to here, and ditch the LED if you want to, or add multiple LEDs. But it's just a pretty simple papercraft way of making a hockey puck type shaped thing, like a robot vacuum, and then adding some motion to it with these self-sticking motors. We also have a whole bunch of, I guess, like kind of 3D paper dolls. We call them robot buddy templates, which are like really three-dimensional rectangles with directions on there for putting both LED eyes and a vibrating motor within the same enclosure that you can activate one or the other. And that's a pretty fun set to do, because I like having kids basically take that basic template and then decorating it so that we all have something that looks different. So maybe Pete over here makes himself a stormtrooper with his, and I make myself a little pink bunny rabbit. It doesn't matter. It's the same basic template you're working off of, like a paper doll. You're just adding decorations to it, which we always like, because it gives kids some options for customization and personalization. Now, in a classroom setting, if you're a teacher wanting to do this in a classroom, make this a multi-day activity kind of thing, where one day you do all the cutting and the folding, and the next day you do the electronics, because otherwise it comes to kind of a longer project for the kids. That's why we cut things out ahead of time, because just the amount of cutting involved with it. And even then, if you want to as well as a teacher, you could just take like an X-Acto knife or heck, a screwdriver if it was sharp enough, and just poke a hole through here. Or don't even go that route. You can even just ignore this little slot altogether. But otherwise, the rest of this is pretty easy for 4th, 5th, 6th graders on up to make this project. I always typically recommend for the Origami Circus Kits a little bit older audience, only because of the folding involved. It's the papercraft skills. I know most teachers who do a lot of paper crafts, their kids get quite good at that. I mean, I've been in classrooms where I've taught before where half the kids had one teacher who did tons of paper craft, the other half didn't, and we had to make sure our lessons accommodated the kids who just didn't do paper and folding and scissors very well. So it's kind of weird to me, like, nobody does paper crafts with these kids. But yeah, the Origami Circus Kit, $25 for this guy. It's enough in here to do like 4 of these, as well as a bunch of other materials, because we have 10 blinking LEDs, 5 big jumbo 10mm gumdrop sized LEDs. We have a robot template to make a big 3D robot in there, 5 meters of maker tape, origami paper as well to do some origami stuff. It's very nice origami paper, 4 vibrating motors, and some batteries. But it's a nice little box. You can make multiple things with it. And even better, too, if you just want to do some straight paper craft activities, some just light up stuff. That's why I have LEDs and tape and batteries in here galore. I mean, we used 6 inches of tape max for this. We have 16 feet of tape in here total, so you can use tape on more things. But don't forget, sign up for this free giveaway, people. We're giving you a free thing. Actually, we, through STEMfinity, together...
this kit. That's what.
This kit. I think it is this kit. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's this kit.
Look,
that's what the email said.
Look at that.
Oh, there we go. They actually put it up there. Thanks, STEMfinity, for reminding us. That's what the email said. But it was a while ago. But yeah, this is this thing, and we're probably gonna come back and do some more of these. But definitely check out the Origami Circuits Kit. Now, this is something else too, by the way. There's a classroom set version of this for $125. That's a really great thing as well, where you can. Say give each kid a small batch of materials to use at home. So if you're doing distance learning with children, which a lot of you are out there if you're teachers, we know because you're calling us and calling STEMfinity and asking about that. You can just parse out those components very easily because it's a motor, a battery, and LED. It's not a whole lot in here, and a give them each a foot of maker tape. And our big classroom set has 130 feet of tape. So give each kid a foot, you still have a ton of tape left over. But you can give them all materials to make, say, this project right here or a different project at home. So it's a very easy distance learning activity because all they need is a scissors and then the printout for that, or construction paper or whatnot. And don't forget, too, I always like to tell people, too, we also have a bunch of lesson plans going along with our paper circuits activities. Nice level lesson plans for really home use, designed so if you're at home, you can easily do those to learn basic circuitry. You just need yourself a motor and a couple of LEDs at most, or just a couple of LEDs and some maker tape. And you can do those lessons and templates and whatnot, because we try to make sure we have lesson, assessment, student page, activity page, all that fun jazz. So you guys don't have to do any work if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So cool beans, everybody. Pete, what time is it?
It is 3:28 p.m. our
Oh my
time.
gosh, we're hitting the exact 30-minute mark we wanted to hit. Well, thank you. Hey, if you haven't already, check out STEMfinity.com. Check out their social media links, which will appear right here. Social media.
What? Oh, right here.
There we go.
There
There they are over
go.
here.
There we go.
Live streaming. Check it out on here. They do post some interesting information and upcoming specials and deals. And yeah, check out Origami Circuits Kit by us, Brown Dog Gadgets, down on STEMfinity.com. There's the small version and the classroom set, 25 and 125 respectively. If you want to check out some more resources, we have those there as well. Or talk to STEMfinity. They'll help you get access to all of our resources as well. We always have those up for free in a wide variety of places because why not? They're fun teaching resources.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check out STEMfinity. Follow them, like them, subscribe them, all those fun things that people say on YouTube videos. And for last time here, we're going to put this up here for like 15 seconds and go like, ooh, jazz hands.
Right. It's in the ending, too.
Oh, it is at the ending. We have an ending page here that's going to run for like a minute or so when we're done. So on that note, since nobody else has any questions apparently, we're gonna end this. And if you have anything else, seriously, talk to STEMfinity, give them a phone call. They're around. They're fairly nice people. So give them a ring. They'll help you out with stuff. And on that note, we're going to do our end title screen to end exactly in 30 minutes. I'm actually happy we're exactly on time.
Ready?
So all right, okay, we're done.
Right.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.